Hi, see everybody, I don't just talk about Disney movies for kids, okay? Many years ago, I did a video on that really amazing Guillermo del Toro Pinocchio movie. What was that, like 2022 or something like that? And like, I guess that movie's for kids, but I don't know, man. If you sit your kid down in front of that, they're gonna have like the craziest existential crisis of all time. But now he's back with a new movie, Frankenstein, starring Jacob Elordi of all people. You know, totally serious here. I think it's actually really impressive how much of a career some of these actors have gone on to have. Cause like Jacob Elordi got his big break on Kissing Booth, right? Which is like absolute garbage. But then he was in Euphoria, he was Elvis, now he's Frankenstein. Like, man, it took decades for Robert Pattinson to break out of being Edward Cullen, you know? And look at him now, he's Batman, he's doing artsy movies that don't make sense. Incredible range, this guy. But all the same, seeing the buzz around this movie, I wanted to check it out. Like, I don't do a lot of horror stuff around these parts, but hey, it's got Mia Goth and the guy from Kissing Booth, so like, what am I gonna do, say no? So come along, fellow mature adults, let's take a walk. The movie starts out with this ship and its crew being stuck in some ice. Apparently they're looking for like the North Pole or something.
Wer ist da? So mehr wie Udsætter arbejdet, des fastere greb beisen for I. Hold dem I gang. Roter dem I grupper.
Now, while they're there, they hear this big explosion, and they find some random dude laying in the snow with a prosthetic leg, which like really blows their mind for some reason.
Han såret I skulderen. Han har brækket benet.
Det et bjørneangreb?
Det tror jeg kan, kaptajn. Larsen, hjælp mig med en støvle. Og kunstig ben.
So they bring this dude aboard their ship, and when they do, they see that he's being hunted by some kind of mysterious shadowed cloaked figure who they can't take down no matter how many times they shoot it or stab it or pretend to have a crush on it and ask it on a date, and then all their friends show up instead and they laugh at you in front of Sbarro's Pizza at the mall. Well, you know what? He looks like he just needs a friend. Now, eventually they drown it. And after this, the captain of the ship is like, dude, word? And then the guy they found, he's like, word, my dude. And he starts telling him this story about who he is and why this like shadow monster dude's chasing him.
Some of what I will tell you is fact. Some is not. But it is all true. It all started with him, my father, and my mother.
Yes, that is indeed how most people's lives begin. Okay, so this guy is Victor Frankenstein. And when he was a kid, his mom was his best friend because his dad's one of those like tough guy, no nonsense, oh no, look out, here he comes kind of guys.
Average male heart. Weight?
9 to 11 ounces, father.
Average female heart.
8 to 10 ounces.
Why do you suppose that is? Difference in mass in female heart. Depth of emotion? Tendency to the melancholic?
Well, obviously not, but that would sure explain a lot of things. So for whatever reason, Victor's dad doesn't really like him or his mom all that much, and they fight all the time about all kinds of things, like why doesn't she ever leave the toilet seat up, or why does he only ever want to talk about feelings when she's trying to play Call of Duty? But eventually, their mother gives birth to another son and dies in the process. And this new son looks way more like the father, so Victor's dad likes him way more. But you see, Victor thinks this is all kind of sus, because like his dad's supposed to be this world-famous surgeon guy, right? But then somehow he couldn't save Victor's mom. Oh, what? Oh, sorry, guys. I did everything I could.
I was born anew that night. I had a vision. I saw, for the first time, the dark angel.
Yeah, hey, you know, that's what happens when you buy that store brand melatonin, you know what I mean? So then we fast forward some number of years. It's like the 1850s now, so like, this dude could be 22 for all I know. Victor has become obsessed with this idea of reanimating corpses and finding out what exactly the spark of life is.
But death, that should be our concern. It should be. Who are we to do so? We are not gods, are we? But if we are to behave as immodestly as gods, we must, at the very least, deliver miracles.
And then he unveils this gnarly corpse thing that you know would smell so bad. Like, everyone's pretending to be shocked here, but like, you know they could smell this 10 miles away. Anyway, so he brings it to life, sorta, kinda, and everyone's like, you're like weird. And so Victor storms out and he's all like, oh yeah, I'll show you. Now this one guy who was there follows him, and this guy actually genuinely is intrigued by Victor's presentation.
And I carry with me a letter of introduction from your brother William. My brother? I asked for the privilege of your acquaintance. It won't take but a minute of your time. Please, Very well.
So we find out that Victor's long-estranged brother, William, is getting married to this guy's niece. But more importantly, this guy is rich, and he really wants Victor to do his research.
But my day has proven long enough, and I believe myself totally unfit for the company of strangers. So, if there's nothing more...
Oh, but there is much more. I've taken quarters in Edinburgh, and 3 days from now we are to meet with William and Elizabeth. I will show you something extraordinary.
A picture of a cool dog with sunglasses on a skateboard. Oh, dang, that's a cool dog. Now, actually, he just shows him whatever the heck this thing is.
Exquisite. Flesh rendered onto wood. The cadaver lies on the plank, is peeled away layer by layer, and the remaining tissue is lacquered with resin onto the wood.
You know, the world used to be a very different place. Like, so many things were just like so normal back then. And so long story short, Victor teams up with this guy because he offers them unlimited resources to find out the answers to the real questions, you know, like what is life? And how to bring dead people back or live forever or how to eat mangoes without looking like a serial killer.
The moment I laid eyes on it, the tower, I could feel destiny calling.
Man, I want a cool gothic tower all to myself. Wow, whoever lives up there must be so cool and mysterious. And then it's just me drawing pictures like, yeah. Okay, so during all this hullabaloo, Victor meets the guy's niece, aka his brother's fiance, Elizabeth. And immediately he's taken with her because, you know, she's like different.
Not as a mere simulation, but as a divine act by physical, chemical means. Why whisper it?
You're amused?
I must be, yes.
Are my ideas not clear?
You certainly expressed them loudly enough. Ideas are not worthwhile by themselves, I don't believe. That is what happens when ideas are pursued by fools.
And you think me a fool?
You know, it's just that typical thing where she's like, you're weird. And he's like, nuh-uh. And then she's like, yeah, huh? And then Victor's like, or like one day he sees her in a crowd out in town somewhere and he follows her around for a bit. Very normal thing to do.
Come back later.
Confession. I was intrigued. What would such a delicate, pious creature have to confess to?
Oh, my dude, if only you knew the things girls get up to in their private lives. You know, I'm sorry, just a slight tangent here.
Random tangents time.
But like when I was growing up, women had great PR for so long. Like every Disney Channel show is about how smart and capable and reliable girls are, and that every boy character was like weird and dumb. Golly gee whiz, I sure hope being student council president will help me get into Princeton next year.
Hey guys, I got a plunger stuck on my head.
Or like every sitcom, the mom was the smart one and the dad was the bumbling idiot, you know? Flawless PR for women, I tell you. And then social media comes, and all their innermost thoughts are just put out into the world. Like, no one's making you admit these things, okay? You could just write all this in a diary. Like, my dude, Batman himself could not get this kind of stuff out of me. Anyway, so Elizabeth figures out that Victor is following her, because she's like so smart, you guys. And then they go to dinner together for some reason.
What books did you buy? A romance? Drenched in Mediterranean sun and silk and the skirmishes of love.
Insulting, but unsurprising.
Insects.
My interest in science leans towards the smallest things.
Okay, well, you came to the right guy. But so, spending time with his brother's fiance, Victor kind of sort of starts to develop a crush. And we start to kind of get the idea that maybe the feeling's mutual because she sure finds a lot of excuses to hang out with him, too.
And for the very first time, I became more interested in life and somewhat less interested in death.
Yeah, you know, the same exact thing happens to millennials whenever they see, like, new Harry Potter crocs. However, eventually, Elizabeth comes to her senses and realizes that she can't leave William for Victor because she has no freedom to choose for herself, so she turns Victor down.
3 hearts, multiple eyes, white blood, and a fascinating lack of choice.
Listen.
I have chosen. Good night.
This, of course, leads Victor to obsess over his work even more because it's all he has now. So he gathers bodies from battlefields and puts all of his waking hours into his work to figure out how to create the perfect specimen, like I did. Right, Fangirl Bot 5000?
Alex, your videos are so funny even though you recycle jokes sometimes, and even though you are slowly descending into madness, I still enjoy your videos and your sense of humor is totally definitely not stuck in 2000s millennial brain rot.
That's like the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me. But okay, so Victor finally makes a huge breakthrough and realizes what he's been missing, and now it's time to do this for reals.
Is it syphilis?
Yeah, I'm dying.
One night with Venus, a lifetime with Mercury. Isn't that the phrase?
Yeah, so the reason this guy is so keen on funding all this research is because he's dying of an STD and he wants Victor to like make him a new body. But Victor tries to tell him that like that's not how this works at all. But of course the guy's like, well, I did my research, okay? I saw a post on Facebook. I know the real truth. And they get in a big old fight and then he falls to his death. But all the same, there's a storm a brewing and Victor knows it's his one chance to do his experiment. But the next morning, Victor wakes up and something a little strange happens. Hey, you know, same exact thing always happens to me whenever I stay at a Motel 6. And so, Victor has created life. He's made this thing that's made of like 50 different humans and it's alive apparently, but so like, what does Victor do now, you know? So he spends his time trying to teach it things, but for whatever reason, it can only say one word.
Yes?
And said Victor is kind of getting a little annoyed about all this for some reason.
How about hand? Can you say hand? Hand! Oh, you are afraid of me? You're afraid of me? Why? Why would you be afraid of me?
Well, hey, Victor, looks like you got the whole being a parent thing down already. Why are you making me feel bad? I never said that. That's not at all how I remember it. You're just saying this now because you want attention. Pretty soon after this, Elizabeth and William show up again. Elizabeth hasn't heard from her dad in a while, understandably, so she's kind of worried. While they're there, Victor and William go off together, I assume so they can play Animorphs Shattered Reality on the PS1.
Only one thing stands between the Yerk and ultimate victory.
Dude, graphics will literally never get better than this.
Here goes.
But while they're doing that, Elizabeth stumbles onto the creature chained up underground. Oh wow, you're like 6'5" and can barely talk? Well shoot, sign me up! And so Victor explains how he put like 50 different people's body parts together to make Mr. Hunkaroo Dunkaroos over here.
Its dimension does not escape me. Victor, did you ever ask yourself, of all the parts that make that man, which one holds the soul?
My dude, why are you bringing up these existential questions while you're tucking me in to go Betty by? Can't you just read me a book or something? Like that one Animorphs book where the girl does 9/11? You know, this isn't actually that much of an exaggeration, to be honest. Now, Elizabeth really connects with the monster because she sort of feels a kinship with the idea of being chained up, or, well, I mean, okay, like metaphorically. Because, as she expressed earlier, she feels like she's in the cage of society, and she has to get married and have kids, and she's not really allowed to live the life she wants. Just like Jacob Elordi. Victor sees that she's having some kind of connection with this dude, and it makes him get really jealous. Oh, sure, he's tall and, like, muscular or whatever, but I cut up bodies for fun, and I'm the weirdo? Like, okay. So, he kind of rages at the monster for a while.
Come on! Give it to me, beast! Give me your leg! Leg!
And thus he realizes that he's created a monster, and Victor fears for his life and tries to burn it all down to the ground and pretend like nothing ever happened. This, of course, is all a reference to the time-honored classic story, Spy Kids 2.
Why do they despise me so? I created them. You think God stays in heaven because he too lives in fear of what he's created?
Butterfly in the sky, I can go
We then cut back to the ship at the beginning of the movie. The shadow monster dude is not dead, and he breaks into the captain's room to confront Victor. This dude is the creature, by the way, in case that wasn't obvious.
My maker told his tale. Then I will tell you mine.
So the rest of the movie is told from the creature's perspective after the fire. We find out that this dude can never die, he heals like super fast, and he claws his way out into the world, knowing nothing, being cast out by his own creator, like humans created by God, who got mad at them for everything they did and then abandoned them. So just to summarize here, the creature stumbles onto this farm and hides out in the mill until everyone leaves to go hunt wolves, and he finally emerges into the house because the only person left is this like blind old man.
And you are wearing uniform. Were you injured in battle? You were hiding in the mill gears, were you not?
So they become friends because the old man needs help doing stuff and the creature's happy to be accepted by anyone, you know?
Friends. And it was then that I read my first story. And it was the first story.
I'm sorry, it's just like, he gave me my first book and it's like this 1,000-page freaking fourth Harry Potter tome. Like, I don't know, maybe start with Everyone Poops or something, you know? But so, long story short, the creature spends like months or years at this farm, and eventually he goes back to that mostly destroyed lab because he can read now, and he finds out that he is just an experiment and he's not like a person, you know what I mean?
I am wreckage, assembled from refuse and the discarded dead.
Anyway, so the creature goes off to find Victor, his creator, and ask him like, hey Dad, why did you go to Walgreens to get American spirits and then didn't come back for 20 years?
You knew I have created something truly horrible.
I am obscene to you, but to myself I simply am.
Be gone! Never! Again will I make something like you, wicked.
Dad, is that you? And so, just real quick here, Elizabeth comes in and she's happy to see the creature. Victor tries to shoot it, but he hits Elizabeth instead. The creature then takes her to a cave and she dies. Victor chases after them and finds Elizabeth there. And so Victor realizes that now he's lost everything due to this creature and his own hubris. And the creature has lost the only person who ever truly saw him as anything more than just a monster. Victor tried to defy God, but in so doing, he only undid himself, becoming the very same kind of father that he had as a child, ashamed of what he's created for one reason or another. An imperfect human who created a soulless God who can really rock a parka, man. I tell you, I wish I looked half this cool doing anything. And so after telling his story, the creature says goodbye to his creator as Victor realizes that maybe humans were the real monsters the whole time.
I'm sorry.
And he dies there on the couch, the Wheel of Fortune marathon still playing on the TV. And thus the creature is left to wander the earth alone forever, just like me. And that's pretty much the end of the movie. Yeah, so like I said, this is basically just Spy Kids 2. I don't really know what else to say here. Like, I think this movie's really cool. Obviously, being based on a book from 1818, the characters are very archetypical, and it's that classic tale of like, who's the real monster? But like, as a cool goth horror film, I thought it was pretty awesome. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please watch another one, because that's how the algorithm works. So click on this one that's being recommended to you right now, right here on the screen. It actually helps a lot if you do that, because like that's how YouTube knows that my videos are worth caring about. Anyway, hope I made your day a little bit better, and I'll see you all next time.